Hello, my friends. Welcome to Luna English Podcast. This is Luna. Today, I've been thinking about how life can change in quiet, unexpected ways, especially during difficult moments when things don't make sense. Sometimes a challenge arrives suddenly, and it feels like something has gone wrong. You may feel confused, hurt, or disappointed, and you might even think you're falling behind. But when we slow down and breathe, we begin to see that these moments are not always failures. They can be invitations to grow. They can be gentle reminders that something in our life needs attention or adjustment. They can even be the beginning of a better path that we can't recognize yet. When I reflect on this, I see how important it is to stay open and curious rather than afraid. Today, I want to guide you through this idea in calm, simple English. Together, we'll explore how pain can teach us, how changing direction can help us, and how letting go of control can bring peace. Let this be a slow, quiet space where you feel supported, understood, and safe to think about your own life with honesty and kindness. What do we do with difficulty? Most of the time, our first reaction is to push it away because we don't want to feel uncomfortable. When something painful happens, we often tell ourselves that it shouldn't have happened or that we must fix everything quickly. But when we look more closely, we can understand that difficulty is not always a problem. It can be a teacher. It can show us what isn't working anymore. It can help us see what needs to change. When you allow yourself to sit with the difficult moment, even for a short time, you create space to breathe, think, and understand. You don't need to solve everything immediately. You just need to stay present and curious. When you ask yourself what this moment might be trying to teach you, you shift your energy from fear to reflection. You begin to understand your feelings instead of fighting them. And slowly, something new begins to form inside you, something steady and strong. The difficulty does not disappear right away, but your relationship with it becomes softer, calmer, and more supportive. Why do hard moments feel so heavy? They feel heavy because they touch important parts of our life, like our hopes, dreams, and identity. When something unexpected happens, our mind reacts quickly and tries to protect us. It creates strong emotions and strong thoughts. And sometimes those thoughts are full of fear or worry. You may think that everything is falling apart or that you aren't strong enough to handle the situation. But these thoughts are not the whole truth. They are only the first reaction. Hard moments feel heavy because they ask us to stop, reflect, and look inside ourselves honestly. They show us what hurts, what matters, and what needs to grow. When you feel this weight, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. It means you're in a moment that is shaping you. And even if the weight feels uncomfortable, it can help you understand yourself more deeply. When you take a slow breath and allow the moment to exist without judgment, the heaviness begins to move. It becomes something you can learn from rather than something you must fear. Can pain become a teacher? Yes, it can, when we allow ourselves to listen to it without running away. Pain is often uncomfortable, but it carries important information. It can show us what needs healing, what needs changing, or what needs more care. Pain can help us grow in ways that easy moments cannot. When we treat pain as a message rather than a punishment, we begin to understand it differently. Instead of asking why something difficult happened, we can ask what the difficult moment is trying to show us. This simple change in perspective can transform the whole experience. Pain can guide us to make better choices, to slow down, or to protect our well-being. It can teach us patience, strength, and emotional awareness. You don't need to like the pain, but you can still learn from it. When you accept that pain is part of being alive, the fear around it becomes smaller. You begin to feel more grounded, more stable, and more connected to yourself. Pain becomes a quiet teacher, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of your own path. What meaning do we choose? This question is powerful because we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control the meaning we give to our experiences. When something painful happens, the first meaning that appears in the mind is often negative. You might think you failed, or that life is unfair, or that you aren't good enough. But this meaning is only one option. You have the ability to choose a meaning that supports your growth instead of harming your confidence. When you ask yourself what this moment can teach you, you invite a new meaning to appear. You can see the event as a chance to grow, a moment to rest, a sign that you need change, or a reminder of your own strength. The meaning you choose shapes your emotions and your next steps. When you choose a meaning that helps you stand up again, you transform the entire direction of your life. You don't need to create a perfect meaning. You just need one that helps you breathe more easily and continue moving forward with gentle courage. How do we live with uncertainty? We learn to accept that not knowing is part of the human experience. Many people feel uncomfortable when the future is unclear because uncertainty feels unsafe. The mind wants answers right away. It wants direction and control. But the truth is that many important parts of life grow in uncertainty. Dreams, new habits, new relationships, and new versions of ourselves all start in unknown places. When you feel uncertain, you can remind yourself that uncertainty does not mean danger. It means something new is forming. It means life is working quietly in the background. Just like a seed grows in the dark soil before it appears in the sunlight, your growth often begins in moments when you cannot see the whole picture. When you breathe slowly and allow uncertainty to exist, you create space for trust. You give yourself permission to wait, to learn, and to let life unfold naturally. Uncertainty becomes a gentle part of the process rather than an enemy to fight. Why do we resist change? We resist it because change can feel uncomfortable, even when we know it will help us. The familiar, even when it isn't good for us, often feels safer than the unknown. When life pushes us towards something new, our mind may create fear to protect us from potential disappointment. But fear is not a sign to stop. It's a sign that something meaningful is happening. Change is how we grow, how we discover new strengths, and how we move into better seasons of life. When you feel resistance, you can take a slow breath and gently remind yourself that discomfort is normal. It doesn't mean you're making a mistake. It means you're stepping into a wider life. Change can bring new ideas, new opportunities, and new understanding. When you soften your resistance and allow change to guide you, you open doors that you didn't know existed. You begin to trust your own ability to adapt and evolve. What if life feels unfair? Sometimes it truly does. Some moments feel heavy without a clear reason. Some situations create pain even when we did nothing wrong. When life feels unfair, it's natural to feel sad, angry, or confused. These feelings show that you care deeply about your life and your values. But after the first wave of emotion, you have a choice. You can hold on to the unfairness and let it shape your identity, or you can use it as a moment to grow stronger. When you choose growth, you take back your power. You begin to see that even unfair moments can teach patience, compassion, and resilience. You start to understand that life is not always equal, but you can still rise with calm strength. Even when the situation feels unbalanced, something inside you is developing quietly. You're learning to trust yourself, to stay grounded, and to move forward with dignity. Unfair moments don't define your life. They refine it. How do we build inner strength? We build it slowly through honest awareness and gentle effort. Inner strength grows when we stay present with our feelings instead of running from them. It grows when we face a difficult moment and choose to breathe through it rather than collapse under its weight. Strength is not loud or dramatic. It is quiet, steady, and patient. It forms beneath the surface, like roots taking hold in the ground. Every time you handle a challenge with honesty and reflection, your strength increases. You may not notice it in the moment, but you change each time you choose hope, understanding, or resilience. Inner strength is also built when you talk to yourself with kindness, when you forgive yourself for mistakes, and when you trust that you can learn from every experience. The more you practice these small actions, the stronger your inner world becomes. Over time, this strength helps you feel calm, even in uncertain seasons. Why do we need to let go? Because holding on to everything creates tension inside us. When we try to control every outcome, every person, and every detail, life becomes heavy and stressful. Letting go is not about giving up. It's about allowing life to move naturally without forcing it. When you release old expectations or fears, you create space for new possibilities. You make room for healing, growth, and clarity. Letting go also helps you breathe more freely. It helps you reconnect with yourself and your values. When you stop trying to manage things that are outside your control, your mind becomes calmer. You begin to trust the process instead of fighting it. Letting go is an act of trust. A way of saying that even if the future is unclear, you believe you can handle it. This trust makes your path lighter and helps you see opportunities that were invisible before. Letting go becomes a gentle guide toward a more peaceful life. How do we stay calm inside? We practice slowing down. Calm doesn't come from avoiding problems or pretending everything is fine. Calm grows when we allow ourselves to pause, breathe, and observe what we're feeling. When life feels overwhelming, your body and mind need a moment of quiet. Even a few seconds of slow breathing can help. When you place your attention on your breath, your thoughts become softer and clearer. Staying calm also comes from understanding that emotions rise and fall like waves. They don't stay forever. When you give yourself permission to feel without judgment, you create inner space. This space helps you respond with clarity instead of reacting with fear. Calm is a skill, and like any skill, it becomes stronger with practice. Over time, you learn how to soothe yourself, how to ground your thoughts, and how to move through life with more peace. Calm does not remove challenges, but it helps you face them with more strength and confidence. What does inner growth look like? It often looks quiet and invisible. People around you may not see it, but you can feel it inside yourself. Inner growth happens when you understand your thoughts more clearly, when you choose kinder meanings, and when you begin to trust your path, even during difficult seasons. Growth is not only about achieving big goals or showing results to others. It's about becoming more grounded, more patient, and more honest with yourself. Sometimes growth means recognizing your old patterns and deciding to choose differently. Sometimes growth means resting instead of pushing. Sometimes it means speaking with more softness toward yourself. You grow every time you face a challenge and decide to learn from it. You grow every time you choose hope over fear. Inner growth is a slow process, but it's powerful. It shapes the person you become and influences the way you move through the world. Even when you cannot see the progress, it is happening inside you, layer by layer. What if we don't understand the lesson yet? That's completely normal. Some experiences are too fresh or too painful to understand right away, meaning takes time to appear. You don't need to force yourself to know everything immediately. It's enough to stay open and patient. Lessons often reveal themselves slowly as we gain distance and perspective. Maybe weeks later or months later, you suddenly understand why a certain moment happened. Maybe it helped you grow in a way you didn't expect. Maybe it protected you from something you didn't see. Maybe it pushed you toward a new direction that later felt right. When you don't understand the lesson yet, you can still trust that growth is happening underneath the surface. You're learning even when you feel confused. You're becoming stronger even when the meaning is unclear. Give yourself time. Give yourself space. Understanding will arrive gently at the right moment. Are we failing or becoming? Many times we think we're failing because something didn't go the way we hoped. But when we look deeper, we can see that we're becoming something new. A difficult moment may feel like the end, but it can actually be a turning point. It can show us a new path or help us discover a part of ourselves we didn't know before. When you see yourself as someone who is becoming rather than failing, you feel lighter and more open. You understand that growth is not a straight line. It includes mistakes, pauses, restarts, and slow progress. You begin to trust that every experience, even the painful ones, is shaping you. You're not going backward. You're unfolding into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. When you adopt this mindset, you move through life with more confidence and less fear. You understand that you're still in the process, and that process is beautiful. What is the quiet truth about hard times? The quiet truth is that you're growing even when you feel confused, lost, or uncertain. You're learning how to trust yourself. You're learning how to stay calm in moments of fear. You're learning how to let go of things that no longer support you. Hard times are not evidence that you're failing. They're signs that you're changing. Just like a seed grows in the darkness before it rises toward the sunlight, your growth often begins in hidden places. You may not see the progress right now, but it's happening in small, gentle ways. When you breathe slowly, stay present, and choose helpful meanings, you support your own transformation. Life is not asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to stay open, patient, and honest. The quiet truth is that you're unfolding into the person you're meant to be, even when the path feels unclear. You're not failing. You're becoming.